4 rounds in and we have our first double winner bearing the name Mick the Rich Claridge. If he manages to come out on top here as well, we might be talking about an extremely dominant streak that only Lotus 79 legend Gernot Fritzsche could rival. Though 4 other drivers might have a saying in that first. Hot on his heels, even though the championship picture might not reflect that right now, these 4 most definitely won't mess around when they have the chance to show the stop sign to Claridge going into Road Atlanta today. So join us now as we try to watch round 5 of the Grand Prix Legend Series live here on the Global SimRacing Channel via the iRacing eSports Network. The crew to give you all these stats and storylines today will be Ryan Walker, John and myself, Stefan Schlacher. Turning the knobs and pushing the buttons behind the scenes is art director Sean Cragos Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by the great Dougie Beard. Most known for hosting the IMSA season finale, the Petit Le Mans 12-hour race every year, Road Atlanta isn't just any ordinary road course, as we're now going to show you with a lap around in our GSRC lap guide.
Alright, we've got Billy Bob right in the GSRC Lotus 49, so let's do a lap around Road Atlanta. Coming down to turn 1, unlike most first corners, you probably won't see many passes into here. Not only is it fast, but the car can get unsteady easily and snap oversteer into the barrier. Up the hill, we now approach turn 3, which is incredibly tricky with its curved braking and completely blind apex. Finding the power coming out of here will also prove difficult because of the way turn 4 winds its way out of there. Then you dive down the valley through the S's, where you certainly won't be able to hold it flat out. It takes you into the awkward braking for 5. There's so many ways you can get this quarter wrong, so don't be surprised if more than a few drivers spin or end their race at this bend. Bleed onto the throttle, and finally you get a short breather on your way down to 6. You might see passes into here, but there's a fair bit of banking, so this is a swifter corner than you'd expect. There's no rest before 7 though, which is easily the most important corner of the track. It takes you onto the long backstretch, where it's critical that you get yourself a good launch. This run down to the chicane will definitely be the most popular for overtakes, but it has its own hidden dangers. The lack of downforce on the 49 makes some of the crests and kinks rather sketchy. Even this last arc to the right needs a slight lift to keep the car settled. Down into the chicane, side-by-side racing happens through this left-right pretty often, but it's usually the driver who can find the power quickly and smoothly coming off that wins out. That can be tough with the crest under the Suzuki Bridge. Finally, you've got a big lift coming through the final turn, and hopefully you've now finished a lap around Road Atlanta.
Paul Peak, the man, the myth, the track guide legend, talking you one lap around the very fast Breslton track. Ryan, what else can you add to what we just had witnessed?
So yeah, this fantastic Road Atlanta track has been around for a while on the iRacing service, and has quite a bit of history as well. But some details about the track as well. First, the location of the track is Braselton, Georgia. And it has an amazing 12 turns, considering the track is kind of not long, but it's not short at the same time, so it's a bit of in between. And today we'll be using the full layout, what says 2.54 miles in length, or 4.08 kilometers if you prefer to use that. And like Steph mentioned at the start of the broadcast, it's been famous for hosting the Petit Le Mans event, and also hosts a range of other SCCA events as well. So yeah, quite a bit of history about the track.
Most definitely a lot of history lies beneath the tarmac here. Also a lot of history shows the F1 Drivers' Championship, where Peter Mikus, after his little bit miserable performance last time out in Motegi, still is leading with 150 points to his name, but you can see the Frenchman there, Michel Didignon, he is just 10 points behind, with Rob Olenek 23 points behind over train grade 31 and Nicola Kochi in 5th place. What this is not showing though is that Mick Claridge right now is on 100 points and just below this chart here, so keep an eye out for Mick Claridge because he's most definitely in the picture, though he has reused up his 2 drop week, so he has to be perfect from here on out. Ryan, how are we looking for that F2 Driver Championship?
The F2 Championship is still, as you expect, really close at the moment, but it's being currently led by Eric Luco at the moment, but he's not been getting away that easy from David Rossi in second, who's only 5 points behind. And then we've got Andrew Eng from the United States rounding out the top 3, still in contention with a further 9 points behind. And then Mr. Consistent, Robert Plumley, sitting there in 4th. And in 5th place, we've got Alessandro Parisi in 5th place. So still real close and still all to play for in the F2 Championship.
And what these guys also very heavily influence is our Nations Cup. Whereas we had in the back old days of F1, only the nations score points, not the manufacturers. Right now the USA is leading that 167 points to their name, with France in second, 13 points behind, and Slovakia 17 points behind. Slovakia, by the way, that is Peter Mikus there, if you don't know. Norway 4th, 34 points behind, and United Kingdom just 1 point behind that in 5th place. Now, as always, we might see the occasional new face on this broadcast for our Lotus 49 Warriors. Ryan, what are we looking at race detail-wise?
So race details for anyone that's never watched the series, or anyone that's thinking about joining the series, possibly, or just anyone that's curious. This is round 5 of this 12-round season, and the race length for today at Road Atlanta on this field layout will be 25 laps. And as always, with regards to setups, that is open, so anything you want to change, like I mentioned before, ride height, cambers, tyre pressures, that sort of thing, you are free to do so. And the incidence is 17x. If you get to 17x, you will get a penalty, and if you go to, or if you get 25x, that will be an automatic disqualification from the race.
And not want to go that for 25, I don't think. So far we have had at least one, or not even one driver who was able to get into those 17x range. Right now the qualifying is going on, and as always you're seeing this broadcast on the iRacing Esports Network. Make sure to like and especially subscribe if you haven't done so yet. You'll know if you haven't, as that button right below this broadcast will still be bright red. And one thing we have to mention about today's race is that we see once again a big amount of racers racing this time around. It's 37 cars that we're gonna see here today, just 3 short of actually splitting this race.
Absolutely, yeah, a good turnout of drivers for today, and 37 drivers around Road Atlanta, especially this full course layout. It's going to be absolutely mayhem, but also on the other hand, it's going to be exciting, and yeah, I'm excited to see what happens as well, especially through the S's on the first couple of laps.
That will most definitely be quite the hotspot there, as it seems like Rob Olenek is going to cross over the start-finish line. Actually, that was an out lap just now, so that was a slow lap. That didn't count there, so let's see what Michelin is able to do in a second lap. That was a fast lap, 2/10 faster. In fact, that puts him 8/10 clear of Michel Dudino once again, putting quite some big question marks above the heads of everybody else.
Yeah, as Mari Kami comes across the line, and doesn't improve, but yeah, Ken Lasky's coming around the final few corners, and it doesn't look like he's going to improve his lap time. It looks like he's going to be a lot slower, so Ken Lasky doesn't improve, but and Peter Mukus is coming around to finish his lap as well, just coming down the back straight. He's just got to get the final few corners out of the way, and hopefully it should be a decent lap.
So we seem to have quite a presence here today, as Peter Mikus comes over the start-finish line to set his lap, his second lap, or his actually first lap that will count for him. And that actually didn't count for him, his first lap, so he still has the chance, I think, to cross over the start-finish line one more time. Yeah, should be good enough, but 1.5 minutes it takes to lap around here. Actually, the number 1 Michael Engelage right now in 17th place. That is a 6.3k driver, but only right now sitting in 17th place, as we see Antonio Rees heading into turn 10A and B.
Yeah, he's just headed out of the final corner and just coming down the hill now, and it looks like he could possibly improve his lap, possibly, but it doesn't look like it. So he comes across the line but doesn't improve.
In Lasky continuing his strong showing after last race at Motegi, right now sitting in 6th place. He actually did already do his 2 laps, so he's still circling around. That was his 3rd lap out here today. Right now sitting in 6th place, as said, with an 18.459. The only driver that hasn't set a lap yet is the driver you're watching right now. It's Peter Mikus, right now sitting in 37th. And I don't think he's gonna get a fast lap here. He's sliding around quite a lot through turn 11 and 12. And that is going to be a 20.1. Only good enough for a 23rd place on the grid. And that is actually also already everybody that can set a lap. Still have a few drivers circling around, but they have all completed their 2 laps already. So we can already confirm that the grid has been set, and Michelin will sit in the first box on that grid with a 17.6. The only driver to break below that 118 mark. Rob Olnick, 2nd place for him, 18.065, good enough to put him 2 times clear of Michel Didino, sitting in that 3rd place on the grid. Occupying the 4th spot on the grid will be the 11 of Ovid Rengerade. So finally a good showing in qualifying for him, with Nikola Koshi in 5th place and Kane Lasky in 6th place. Bruce Nelson also continues his great form in qualifying with a 7th place in this grid, with Gary Thiel 8th, Dave Price 9th, and rounding out your top 10 of this 37 car field will be Sebastian Tixier.
Starting in 11th is Michael Cook, here alongside him in 12th is Will Tyler, Antonio Rees in 13th, 14th is Thomas Torp, 15th is Marco Kika, 16th is Eric Loco, 17th Michael Engelads, 18th is Fabrizio Messiani, 19th is David Rossi, and rounding out the top 20 is Chris Marikami.
It will be the 20 of Terry Worth, with Alessandro Parisi in 22nd. Peter Mikus, as already mentioned, only a 23rd place for your current championship leader. He has to make up quite some ground to continue his lead into round number 6. And ranked 24th, Johan van Doorn in 25th, Paulo Brem 26th, Telma Amaral in 27th, Ivan Beascio in 28th, Dave Cohen 29th, and rounding out your top 30 will be Don Peak.
Yep, starting at 31st is Andreas Bruno, 32nd is Alex Harris, 33rd is Paul Ferrer, 34th is Marco Ravioli, 35th Robert Plumley, Gary Anderson,
and
36th.
The engines are already harmonizing, and off we go. Green flag in the air. Nikola Koch with a bad start, but Owe Train Rate, a great start for him, has to actually get out of the throttle there a little bit, because Michel Turdin and Rob Olenek up ahead of him are side by side. Rob Olenek gonna lose out 2nd place, and it was once again a very great start by Mick Ledge, who is clear by about 2 car lengths going into turn number 3. Also seems like everything so far is still clean, a few bubbles and wobbles, but I think everybody has survived turn 1. Actually, I am very madly mistaken, because Peter Miko's already out of the race with Engelage, and a lot of other cars are also showing quite some wear and tear coming out of turn 1, so there was quite some trouble going through turn 1 already, sadly.
Yep, as everyone's at the moment, close to the front anyway. No one's had any issues and managed to make it through halfway through the first lap in one piece without any issues. But I was looking further back in the pack as well, and several cars had incidents in turn 1. But back up at the front at the moment, it's the leader towards the end of the first lap is Mick Claridge.
Gary Thiel trying to attack Bruce Nelson, but that backfires heavily for him as he goes tumbling into the gravel trap at turn 10B. That is his race also done. He came together there a little bit. I think that was with Sebastian Tixier, as he had to slow down way too much. So that once again has ripped a little bit of a hole inside our top 10. As Kane Lasky, Nikola Kochi has a little bit of a problem through turn 1 ahead of Kane Lasky, as he falls about 5 car lengths back from over track grid. Right now looking at the green car of Michel Durino. Sorry there, Ryan. 2nd place driver with the number 2. Not very used to seeing the French in the 2.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it looks like these top 3 guys up at the front are starting to break away a little bit from the rest of the pack behind. So Yeah, it's Claridge, Didion, Olenek and Train Grade at the moment.
Yeah, and it seems like we were actually able to catch on some of our cameras that turn 1 incident, so we're gonna show you that one because it has big implication for our leader of the championship right now. We're gonna have to go a little bit back here, and this is going to be very interesting because a lot of cars ahead of him are going to lose their cars, and he just has nowhere to go, so we're able to see they're just, yeah, very unfortunate situation for Peter Mikas, but that is the trouble that you can have if you're starting back on the grid.
Yeah, it's also the trouble as well with heading into turn 1. Everyone's just slowing down. Everyone's slowing down so much, and it just causes a bottleneck effect. Yeah, so again, bottleneck. Yeah.
Also seems like Kane Lasky was finally able to get past Nikola Koch while we were on the replay. There happened through turn 1. There's a little bit of a mistake from Kochi, and he had to let Lasky pass there for that 5th spot on the race right now. Nikola Kochi now with a bad mistake through turn 8. Nearly loses him another position to Bruce Nelson, who has some problem stopping his car because of Kochi. He has a slowdown penalty, has to let Sebastian Tixier pass, and all of a sudden, Tixier, without really attacking anyone, up into 7th place.
Yeah, that was unfortunate for Snelson. He just took too much of that inside curve, and just like you say, got a slow down and had to give up a position and give up that position to Tixier, but only lost 1 position by the looks of it, so it's not all lost.
And this is quite a snake. It goes all the way back to about 15th place. That is Thomas Top, and inside this battle snake, I would like to call it, is Eric Lukel right now. Is ahead of him. There's a big mistake from Sebastian Tixier, and Bruce Nelson nearly was able to sneak past by him once again through turn 1, but nothing came off of that opportunity as everybody goes through turn 3, which actually in some of cars here at Road Atlanta is quite a dangerous spot, but not so for the Lotus 49 because we have that hump over the or rather under the bridge at the backstretch, and right we have seen quite a lot of cars crashing there in practice.
Yes, several drivers were having issues there, and maybe just pushing too hard as well, which didn't help. So yeah, some drivers just maybe pushing hard to try and find a limit so they don't go over that limit in the race, and it seems to be some drivers are not really struggling at the moment. It seems as right on board with Michael Cook in 11th, and just in front of him is Bill Tyler. So yeah, this pack in front of him is starting to maybe just bounce up a little bit as these guys close up under braking.
Michael Cook, a little bit of problem there through turn 10A. Did set him quite nicely up though for the exit out of turn 10B, so he didn't even lose any speed there through that chicane, looking nicely over the shoulder of Cook, as we're looking now at the very front of this race. It's Mick Clash still leading about a second ahead of Michel Dudenier. In second, Rob Olenek third right now with overtraining rate right under the gearbox of the American in 4th place. And we have a little bit of a break already up down to 5th place. Kane Lasky, he's about 4 seconds back on the top 4 drivers. So once again, they have very neatly separated, and we can also say that they have most definitely closed down on the speed of Mick Clash. Most definitely we will have to have a look on that, or have an eye on that, seeing how that gap develops over the race. Right now though, we're looking into the rear mirror of Dave Price. He's looking forward though, because he wants to attack Bruce Nelson. Right now though, more looking into the mirror, because right behind him, that's Bill Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler's putting the Price under huge pressure, and it looks like Tyler might have got the run on the exit of the chicane, might be able to get a run on Price heading onto the home straight, but it looks like Price has just pulled away a little bit as they come onto the home straight, and nothing that Tyler can really do about it.
Just one space behind, that's Eric Lukel right now struggling to keep his P12 from Marco Kika. Kika trying to look to the right side of turn 2, not going to happen for him. He has to be careful though, because Antonio Rees, like you can see on our beautiful chopper cam, Reese just behind him, with Thomas Topp tucked right under the gearbox of Antonio Reese. So another little bit of a battle pack forming behind that 4th place driver of Eric Luco.
Yeah, Luco was under attack from these guys, and but he's not under a huge amount of pressure. I think if these guys can stick with him heading onto his back straight, they might be able to get a run with this slipstream. But yeah, these cars on the back straight, apparently I heard that some drivers are having issues by crashing on the back straight and getting sideways.
Especially through this kink here on the backstretch, a lot of people have to make the decision. Are they brave enough to keep in their throttle and go wide because of that, or just lift ever so slightly and stay more to the right side? Most of our top drivers, rather all of our top drivers, are keeping their foot in, going that little bit wide, compromising their entrance into the turn 10 chicane. Though in the backpack, or middle pack rather, we have seen people are opting more for that safe route and really lift a little bit there to keep to the right side and have that better line through the chicane. Also seems like that Obi Trengrid is starting to get a little bit frenzy for that 3rd place. He's most definitely right now the faster driver of those two. Rob Olenek right now hurting that 3rd place. Though a very bad run out of that 8th turn, not gonna give him much room to attack into turn 10.
Yeah, I mean, we know how quick Obi can be, but also on the other hand, we know how much he likes to set the car up to really like slide or oversteer a lot, and it seems to, at the start of the race it seems to work, but in the later stages of the race it doesn't seem to work as much, because he seems to fall back a little bit and not be able to keep up the pace. But at the moment he's putting all in it under huge pressure.
Virtual weather gods were actually a little bit kind today to our Lotus 49 drivers. Track temperature right now only 33 degrees Celsius, as Michel Didon puts in the fastest lap of the race, 17.808, right now standing on top of the cards. There you can see right now the temperature 70 degrees Fahrenheit in the air with 92 Fahrenheit on the track. And we have the number 2 of Michel Didon. Don't have too much worry about that damage he has on the front nose. That's just with all the curb strikes these guys take. There's always a little bit of damage pickup on the Lotus 49 nose.
Yep, there's this battle. Battle between Snelson and Dave Price for P8 is going on at the moment, and it looks like at the moment Sebastian Tixier just ahead of Bruce Snelson's managed to pull away a little bit. So Snelson's starting to be caught by Price, and also in the background Paul Tyler.
Dave Price keeping his foot in and actually was able to keep his car to the right side, so seems like he really has set up his car for that kink. As Michelin puts up his fastest lap of the race, we go down to P number 26, that's Alex Harris, who got past the top peak performer of the day. It's Donald Peak. Let's see what happened to Donald there going through turn 5. A slow exit for him, a really great run for Alex, goes to the left side, and Donald Peak just decides that he's not gonna fight with that. I wonder if Donald has damage on his car. Doesn't seem like so, the 33 just decided that it's not his fight to do.
Because
up to P number 13, Ryan Antonius in this lap has lost 2 positions and now finds himself in 50.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to him. He might have just made a mistake and just lost a couple of positions to Torque and Luco, and Reyes is not he's not really lost any time to these guys, but he's kind of fallen back a little bit, but not by too much, as on board with Antonio at the moment as well. It looks like he's closing right up under braking and managing to catch the guys back up by doing that. Maybe just a mistake by Antonio, or maybe these guys in front of him were just a slight bit quicker.
Look at Thomas Torp really under pressure now from Eric Lukal as we look over the shoulder still of Antonio Rees. Nothing is going to happen into turn 1, but maybe out of it. No, Eric Lukal decides better off that. Could have had the opportunity to have a look to the inside of Thomas Torp into turn 3, but decided it was not worth the risk. By the way, we're on lap number 10 now of this 25 lap race, so there's still a lot of time to go as we have passed into the second third of this race.
The battle for P3 between Olenek and Trengrade is still going on at the moment, and Olenek can't really get away from Trengrade, but also on the other hand, he can't really close up to Didion in front of him. So at the moment, it looks like Olenek having to watch his mirrors rather than keep an eye on the car in front, and just having to watch his mirrors all the time.
Yeah, and one thing I can also report ahead of this battle, Mick Clatch first place right now. He is starting to really dig down into the lap times. Last lap it didn't count for him because he had an off track, but it was a 1:17.426, a whole 4/10 faster than second place Michel Dudino. So we can most definitely say that Mick Clatch, although he has been caught up a little bit speed-wise by the four guys behind him, he is still the most dominant force in the Lotus 49.
And riding on board the back of Olenek as well, you can just see how close Trengrade is managing to get now. And yeah, I think if Trengrade can get close enough in the slipstream, he might be able to make a move on Olenek, but it doesn't appear to be the case.
Olenek going sideways through the kink. Over Trengrade not able to do anything. And it seems like that over Trengrade's setup style actually is hurting him right now a little bit, because he has to actually lift through that kink to not get too sideways with his car. So maybe that does cost him quite the opportunity to pass Rob Olenek right now in this race. So we might have to keep a little bit of an eye on that as he gets a little bit bogged down by the slow turn speed of Rob Olenek. He might have had otherwise a chance like that. Though right now over Trengrade still sitting in 4th place, and they are also not really dropping away from Michel Dudino ahead of them. Another battle that has been very close is the battle for 6th place. Sebastian Tix here has been able to pass Nicola Koch in the last 2 or so laps. So Koch continues his downward trend, started in 5th place and now already back to 7th, and he's continuing to struggle as the Asian Club driver Sebastian Tix here has passed him for that 6th place. Nicola Koch might soon lose another position because Bruce Nelson 8th place, not too far behind him. And it seems like Michel Dudino with a bad mistake out of turn 8, Ryan, as he's now under pressure going through the chicane at turn 10.
Yeah, Didion, I'm not sure what happened to Didion. He was a wee bit up the road, but it looks like he made a mistake, and that's allowed Rob Olenek and Ove Trengrade to pounce and close right up on him. So Didion, he was just focusing on hitting his marks in front, but that's not the case anymore. He's having to look behind him all the time because he's got 2 hungry tigers in the case of Olenek and Trengrade closing up on him.
Yeah, that battle for 2nd place is most definitely on right now. A little bit of different lines there for everybody. Big slide from Rob Olenek over Trengrade, too wide though through the exit, and that is going to cost him a run on Rob Olenek for that 3rd place. So over Trengrade continues to be stuck behind Rob Olenek because of his setup choice.
Absolutely, as basically back up at the front as well. Mick Claridge has basically just pulled away from these guys, and he's got the gap up to about 4.5 seconds. So Mick Claridge basically the form man at the moment, and yet again pulling away from these guys, and just basically as it stands, I should say, it's in a league of his own at the moment. Yeah,
right now the last 4 laps were all 17.4 laps, or last lap right now around 17.551. So that was about a tenth slower than his average lap time the 3 previous laps. As Michel did a big mistake through turn 1, a big slide for him, though Rob Olnick too far away to capitalize on that extremely big mistake from the Frenchman. And also catching right now a glimpse. It seems like Michelin soon gonna catch a string of cars that he will have to lap. So maybe that will soon play a role in this three-car battle for second place, as we are on board once again with the Norwegian of Ove Trenkert.
Just the Ove seems to be the quicker than Olenek at the moment, but he can't really do anything about it. So yeah, I think the best that Ove is going to have to hope for is maybe Rob and Michel make a mistake, and it gives him a chance to possibly gain a position or even two positions. But
the run is there right now for Rob Olnick. Michel Dudin actually feels like he has to go defensive into the chicane. That is going to give him a bad run out of it. Let's see if Rob Olnick is able to do something with that into turn 1 right now. Really tugged under the gearbox of the Frenchman. Has to actually lift off a little bit because he wasn't able to see his turning point as Michel Dudin goes too wide out of turn 12. And Ove Trenkert continues to be the third car in line.
Yep, absolutely. These guys are still going at it for basically
Big slide from Rob Olnick. They're able to catch it actually. Sorry Ryan there for jumping in, but that could have been very costly for him. Might have even looked like a little bit like he's gonna run into Michel Dudin, but everybody kept clean.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh! Goes into Gary Anderson, nearly collects Clash with that, as those three now streak through that incident. Yeah, Mick Clash, it is going to happen right in front of him. He actually has to slow down because he has to weave a little bit through these cars. You're gonna see it now. Right there, a little bit of weird, and then the two cars ahead of him collect, and also in behind him. Lots of counters around him, but thankfully he kept it all clean.
Yeah, that was lucky for Mick. He managed to get through those back markers without any issues. But yeah, it would have been a heart and mouth moment for Mick. But yeah, back down the order as well to second, third, and fourth place. Dudion, the Olenek and Trenkert are still going at it for the final two steps on the podium, and yeah, Ove's still not been able to do anything, so he's just basically having to sit there, keeping a watch and brief.
Yeah, these guys were a little bit stringed out by the lap traffic they had to get past, though they have found themselves once again with Trenkert once again with a great run out of turn 5. Just can't do anything with it though, as Rob Olnick seems to be a little bit stronger once the power can be fully put down on the Lotus 49. Also, we can report the track temperature has gone up by another degree Celsius, actually 2 degrees Celsius now. It's now up to 35 degrees Celsius or 95 degrees Fahrenheit, as they once again have to get past the lap car. This time it's Dave Cohen sitting in 24th position.
Yep, and yeah, around the road Atlanta, when it comes to lap and back markers, it's kind of difficult in some places, especially like you've got like the twisty section as well. It's quite difficult to get by the back markers there. But at the moment, the leaders and the second, third, and fourth have not had any issues getting by them. So yeah, these guys are still really close together, and it looks like this battle for the final two steps on the podium is about to, or will go down to the final lap possibly.
Yeah, we're right now on lap number 17. We just started that lap, so we still have about 9 laps to go. As Michelin gets a little bit held up through turn 5 by a lapped car that is down peak, but nothing really done harm-wise. Going back a little bit now to the battle for the last step on the top 10s. That is Marco Kika versus Bruce Snelson. They're also getting quite close to each other. And one thing that Thomas Torp is bringing with him is Eric Lupel. So yeah, might have soon a 4-car battle pack for that last spot in the top 10.
Yeah, I've been watching this battle for a few laps now, and it's been slowly getting slowly closing down a little bit. So this, like you say, it could be a 4-car battle coming quite soon, and yeah, the field as well, in a way, is looking further back, or just in general, it seems to have spread out a little bit.
Yeah, and a big mistake just now by Bruce Nelson as he wanted to go past Gary Anderson, really outbraked himself through that turn 8. And that really closed in the gap now between himself and Kika. All that safety space that he had to the Finnish driver behind is now completely gone. And we now have that battle on our books for that 10th place, and also Thomas Torp is now up to that. As it seems Robbo and Ove Trengrade are getting extremely close together. This time a very good run from Ove Trengrade, though he's a bit light over the hump. And once again, can't do anything with it.
Yeah, it seems to be that Trengrade's really close to Rob, but it's just he can't do anything about it. He can't make a move. It just seems to be that Rob's got the better run in the exit of some of the corners.
Yeah, let's see if anything is gonna happen in that battle right now going into the chicane. Nothing is gonna happen for this lap. So once again they cycle through lap number 18 with those positions assigned to them like they started, I think, except for Dudinho and Rob Olenek. Those two have swapped position on the very first lap. I'm still keeping half an eye on that P10 battle right now because Marco Kika made a mistake and Thomas Torp is getting very close to him, though he has to lift through the kink, which Marco Kika doesn't have to, and all of a sudden Thomas Torp sees himself about 2 car lengths back on Marco Kika.
Yeah, this battle for P10's been pretty much starting to get feisty for the last couple of laps now, and they're really close together now, and at the moment Snelson's in 10th position, but Kika's right close to him as well. But also in the background you've got Thomas Torp as well, so these guys are close together, and again I think this battle will probably go down to the closing stages as they kick the cones over for good measure, but yeah, it just shows that these guys are pushing really hard.
F's in chat for all those cones that were sadly murdered in that mistake from Bruce Nelson as Thomas Torp goes for a little bit of a Chicana style exit there out of turn 5 that brings in Eric Lukel now into the picture. Extremely close, they touch! Eric Lukel gives a touch to the back of Thomas Torp. That is damage to his car now. As also that was Michael Cook, 9th place driver, who had a mistake himself. And you can see Thomas Torp grabbing very hard. That is his race, probably dampered by a meatball.
Just riding on.
See the wheel angle from Torp. Sorry, Ryan. That is probably going to be his race done.
Yeah, I was just going to mention he's steering slightly off as well while you come into the pits. No, he decides to stay out, and like the director just said, he looks like he's going to try and fight through it, but I don't know if he'll have a meatball flag or not.
Look at that. Yeah, there goes the number 12 off now. He goes over a bad bump, avoids the tire barrier, but most definitely he has a black flag for that. That's only 4 laps, so he won't be able to do anything with it, as Andres Bruno goes a little bit too much out of the way of Michel Dudinho, and now also comes Rob Olenek and Ove Trengrade, but Andres Bruno a little bit in the middle of the track. Rob Olenek has to make a move on the braking, didn't like that at all. Ove Trengrade, because of that, now very much on the back of the gearbox of Rob Olenek, going through turn 12 for the 20th time, starting lap number 21.
And that allowed Trengrade to close right up as well, and also Michel Dudinho has kind of just pulled away a little bit, and took advantage of that and managed to build a little gap at the moment.
Yeah, that was actually a lucky break with a lap car for Michel Dudinho. Right down here, that's where Rob Olenek and Ove Trengrade got stuck behind a lap car. And that is why they have that gap right now to Michel Dudinho. Though I'm pretty sure that they are able to close that gap quite rapidly in again once they are disposing of the traffic of Chris Murakami.
Yep, as they come onto the back straight now, and Murakami, it looks like, will probably pull to the right and allow both of these guys through, and it looks like that is the case. So Dudinho at the moment, he's pulled away from these guys, and it looks like the final step, the battle for the final step on the podium will be between Olenek and Trengrid, as yeah, Lasky is probably about, I'm not sure, but he's well behind at this point.
Yeah, Kane Lasky is actually 10.5 seconds, nearly 11 seconds behind 4th place driver over Trengrid Racing. A very lonely race. Same can be said about Nicola Kochi, who is 7.5 seconds back. Dave Price 5.7 seconds, and Bill Tyler, same for him. The next really close gap is actually between Bruce Nelson and Mark Kika for 9th place. They're within about a second. As once again Rob Olenek and Ove Trengrid get a little bit bogged down by the lap traffic of Andrew Eng. But yeah, Michelle, do you know, just really lucky with traffic right now. Now has still Paolo Brem between himself and Rob Olenek. As Paolo Brem doesn't really go out of the way there, Rob Olenek has to dive to the inside, nearly gets cut off by Paolo Brem. That is not how you go like a lap car, Paolo. Please look at how to be lapped. That is really not nice, cutting off a lead car like that, though Rob Olenek still clean on his car, and he continues to fight another lap.
Yeah, I think Paolo Brem should have been more aware there. He was just a bit, he was all over the place there in the way. He just wasn't really paying attention to behind him, and just about chopped the nose off of Rob Olenek. But luckily, Olenek and also Trengrid have kind of not lost that much time. But just Paolo Brem just has to be more aware in the future.
Oh, and Paolo Brem actually now gets passed by Andrew Eng because of a mistake he made through turn number 1. Paolo Brem is actually fighting with Andrew Eng for that 17th place that he is in right now. Andrew Eng has to give up that position again through the S's because of his damaged front of the car. Behind them, that's Chris Murakami. He's nowhere near that fight. He is actually sitting right now in 32nd. Guess what though, Ryan? Rob Olenek and Ove Trengrid get ready for another battle down backstretch.
And just looking at Trengrid as well, he's got the runner and all in it. He's a lot closer than he was before, and yeah, he's got a massive slipstream on Robbie, but Rob goes to the inside to defend, and Ove is going to try and go round the outside into the chicane, which will be a very brave move, and Ove Trengrid up into 3rd place.
Doesn't need an outside if you have an inside through a kink where you need quite some strength. Ove Trengrid able to keep his foot in, and thus he is moving up into 3rd place. Ove Trengrid back into 4th, and now let's see if Ove Trengrid is able to show his speed with cloud cover coming over the track. Track already up to 37 degrees Celsius, so that is going to be quite really 4-hour drives.
Yep, it looks like I'll be interested to see if Ove can try and pull away from Rob, and yeah, at the moment it looks like Mick Claridge is just maintaining that gap and maintaining the pace, and he's only got, as Ove runs wide over the crest, they're well held.
There goes Ove Trengrid once again back into 4th place with a big mistake over the turn 5 exit curb. Rob Olenek able to sneak past. Now they have to get past 2 lap cars. That's Ivan Dario and Gary Anderson. Both very much play nice here, and both of them are able to get past. As Michelin enters turn 10A and B, he's getting ready to see himself into the last lap of the race. White flag ready to be waved to our current leader, Michelin, the UKNR driver. There we go, last lap is now officially started. Michelin just has about 4 kilometers to go. As he makes a big mistake through turn 1 actually. Nothing is coming from that though. So he still continues in that 1st place as we once again look back to the battle between Ove Trengrid and Rob Olenek for that 3rd place. Oh, Rob Olenek very wide through turn 3, gives a lot of speed to Ove Trengrid. Let's see how the setup is through the S's. It's going to be very important what you can do through here. Stays close, Rob Olenek with a big mistake, like we nearly have seen from Ove Trengrid. Side by side they go into turn 6. who is able to keep his nose ahead here. It's gonna be very interesting who decides on what you're going through the last right-hander onto the backstretch. Over turn grade is right now in front and will give in a big slipstream for Rob Oden. It goes to the left side as we get ready to see the checkered flag fall for Michelin. Side by side through turn 10. They will probably be heading. Rob Oden, he doesn't need it even. Here comes over train grade. Will he stop his car? Yes, he will. Still side by side. They go through the second apex of the chicane as Michelin wins this race in commanding victory ahead of Michel to the end. Over train grade will take home a third place from Rob Oden.
There's the battle for fifth place is going to go to Ken Lasky coming across the line now, and the battle for the P10 between or P9 between Snelson, Kika and Luca is coming around the final few corners now, and it looks like Snelson at the moment is going to hold on for 9th place, and he's got a bit of a gap behind him to Kika, so he'll hold on for that position. But the battle between Kika and Luca is coming round as well, just behind, and Snelson will hold on for 9th and Kika will hold on for 10th. And
yeah, with all of that, the racing might be over here in virtual Georgia, but the broadcast is far from done. We're gonna step aside for just a few moments to take a breather, but we will be quickly back for the post-race show where we will run you down the unofficial finishing order, talk to some of the drivers, and close off an eventful race. So don't step away too far as GSRC will back after these messages. Welcome you all back to the Grand Prix Legends post-race show, streaming to your home on the Global SimRacing Channel via the iRacing Esports Network. First on the agenda, as always, is the unofficial finishing order, which once again has been dominated by Mick the Rich Claridge in first place. The gap to Michel doesn't tell the whole story because he was in a commanding lead pretty much all race long. 3 seconds it was in the end back to the Frenchman of Michel with Ovid Trengrid in third, Rob Olenek fourth place, and Kane Lasky coming home in a very sound fifth place. Nicola Cocci brings home a sixth with David Price in seventh. Bill Tyler climbs himself 4 positions into 8th place. Bruce Nelson falls down 2 to 9th, and Marco Kika, the top gainer in this top 10, from 15th he found himself into 10th place.
Finishing in 11th was Eric Lucco. Finishing in 12th was Fabrizio Massini. 13th was Thomas Stork. 14th was Terry Worth. David Rossi finished in 15th. 16th was Ivan Diadio. 17th was Paolo Brem. 18th Andrew N. 19th was Andreas Bruno. And rounding out the 20 was Robert Plumley.
Telmo Amaral, another car that was a lap down in 21st, with John Van Dorn in 22nd. Dave Cohen is the last car 1 lap down, and he is also the last car to not have run into big problems. Everyone behind is 3 laps or greater down, led by Donald Peake. We're just gonna let you cycle that through as Mick Clutch, our race winner, once again finds himself on 50 points. 3 races, Mick, 3 times, very, very commanding. So far, so perfect.
Yeah, hi guys. Mate, it was a tough race. I really had to work on the setup this morning to get the car as quick as it was. I had a hell of a race on Thursday with Michelle up front, and I didn't want that again. Well, I did and I didn't, So I did a bit of work this morning, and it really paid off. It made a lot of difference because the weather was the same as that race where I had a battle up front, So sorry to you guys for the TV, but needs must,
Well, Mick, since you came back, you have found yourself to new heights form-wise. Where is all of that speed coming from all of a sudden?
Do you know what? I've been, I think I think there has been, I don't know if there's been a change to the car, but I think there's been changes to the track. Every time I go to a new track and have to download it, I get an update, well, there is an update, so the tracks have changed. And I just put it down to, it's just fitting with my style and my setup. I'm running a really low power ramp, and I'm getting off the slow corners, I think, a lot better than most guys. And then because that's working, I can ease off on the braking zones and stuff like that, and then the tyres don't get worked so hard, so then that gives me more speed. And I think it's just a combination of everything, but I think it does boil down to just everything's happening all at once. The setup's working, everything's working, and it's just my style seems to fit with the build, this build. I don't think it's going to be the same next week. I think it's going to be a bit of a different story next week because there's only a couple of slow corners out of Suzuka, and I think that's going to, I'll be surprised if it's the same. I'll be shocked.
Well, taking already away my next question, Suzuka is where we're gonna go in Japan. So we're going Japan, America, Japan. Mick, how many laps did you do today? What for this week? Was it again rookie numbers like 250?
No, you know what? I've Donington, and I had this set up for Donington, and then I don't know if I said it in the interview at Motegi. I probably said that I changed the set, but I didn't. In the end, I went back to the same setup, and I just kept it the same this week pretty much. I just did a little bit of tweaking to get over the curbs, higher rebounds. That works a lot here because you have to take the curbs here, and so the setup's just worked, and I don't even know what your question was.
How many laps did you need to practice here today?
Yeah, so I was going to say, no, I didn't have to actually do that many this week. So it wasn't like Donington where I was just, 600 odd laps or whatever. I've never done that, and it's all because of the virus, stuck indoors, doing nothing. So,
yeah.
So, that's the story. So no, I didn't have to do that many this week. Sorry, mate.
All right, so you continue with your rookie numbers there, Mick. But once again, congrats on a clean sweep thus far in the 3 races you have entered. You have won all of them, but the pressure continues because you have to keep it clean.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I think I know why you're saying that, because I had a lot of incidents today, a lot of off tracks, so I kept it clean for the last third of the race. I was mounting them up. I didn't even realise there was that many until I saw them up at the top of the screen and thought, okay, let me just slow down a bit and take it easy. So yeah, you're right. You're spot on there, mate.
Well, Mick, once again, congrats on your third victory in a row, and yeah, good luck for Suzuka.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Cheers.
That was Mick Cledge, once again the winner out here today. Next up, it's Ryan Walker talking to fourth place finisher Rob Olenek.
Rob just missing out on the finishing on the podium, but on the other hand, it produced a great battle with Ovi Trengrid for most of the race. And Rob, yeah, you and Ovi looked like you were going at it like cat and dog.
Yeah, it's been, I don't know what it is, but the last few weeks in both Camel and in this car, we've been having some really good battles. It's fun. A couple more hours from now, we might do it again. He was very patient today because he was right on me for a whole bunch of the race and just kind of waiting for a mistake. And there only had to be a little one before he could finally get up beside me. That was a tough race. Man, having him, 0.3 seconds behind me, like the most of the race, but trying to keep up with Michelle, I'm actually sore. Like, I don't know if I was just like clenched a little more than normal or something, but it was tense.
Yeah, I mean, you had it looked like you had a good battle with Michelle as well, and then when it came to lapping the traffic, it seemed to hinder you a little bit. Do you think you could have finished in second, or do you think Michelle was just that slight bit quicker, or was it just the traffic not playing ball with you?
I think I got a little unlucky with traffic, but I think it's both. I think Michelle had a little pace on me this week anyway. So being right behind him, it's a lot easier to keep up with him because he kind of pulls me along. I was hoping for that and hoping for maybe a little mistake. And I couldn't believe I got him. He must have really screwed up his qualifying. He should have been ahead of me on the grid anyway. But I don't know. This track, it is so hard to put the power down, and it's just so easy. It's so hard to be consistent, like to run a consistent lap even when you're just all by yourself in practice. And I figured there was no way I'm making it through this race without some kind of decent mistake to go back in positions.
Yeah, I have to say, I thought at one point it looked like you had the measure of Vove, but then just talk us through the last lap, or the last couple of laps. It looked like Vove was trying to go round the outside of you into the chicane, which I thought was brave, but fair play to him, he pulled it off. Did you try anything to hold him off, or is it just he had the measure of you?
I had made a little mistake there to let him get a run, and I was just kind of, once you do something like that, I know he's a really good driver. He's going to hold his side. So I was like, well, it's on. So let's see who can come out ahead on our own side. So he got me. He waited all race, got by me, and then made his own little mistake. And I got that. That's a tough thing to do in iRacing when you're leading, or when you're following. And as soon as you get by a guy, all of a sudden it's like you have to drive different, and you just mess up. That's very common. That's happened to me plenty of times. But it's just an awesome battle. I thought if I, on the last few corners, that I might have been able to get a run and get up beside. I've been in here, and I think it was a 49. Somebody in one of the races a while ago, and he just went all the way off track on the final corner, accelerating out, and they ended up having like a photo finish. But you have a chance on those last couple of corners. You never know who's going to come in front. So I went for it.
Good stuff. And before we let you go, Rob, is there anyone that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Just you guys. I'm on Dirty Torques, the Dirty Torque drivers. Mick, Michelle, all the guys in the series. Super fun series to drive. But thanks a lot, guys, and I'll see you next week.
Good stuff. Well, thanks for joining us in the booth, Rob, and we'll see you next week.
Next up, we still have... No, actually, he left. So we don't even have Kane Lasky anymore, who would have been our third interviewer of today. So with that, Ryan, we have to get once again on our closure today, and as always, GSRC would like to thank the iRacing Esports Network for having us on their talent lineup to bring you the greatest shows on iRacing into your home. Make sure to like and subscribe to their channel if you haven't done so yet. On top of that, we'd like to thank everyone on track today for a great show, and especially those for the non-community for contracting with GSRC, the broadcaster. Right now on your screen you can see all 3 companies that provide us with their great hard and software GSRC uses to deliver you the best possible show. Additional thanks goes to Chula who provides us with her great masterpieces. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, please visit us at globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also find us on the social media platforms, Twitter with @GSRChannel, Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel, or on Instagram at GSRC_Reddit. All of the upcoming races for our other series are now sliding across your screen, so check them out and mark them down your calendar to not miss another second of exciting racing action. Finally, on behalf of the entire crew, Sean, Ryan and Doug, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in as Mick, the Rich Claridge, took away the victory here in virtual present. With that said, until next time, sailors and so far, and as always, race smart, race clean, and we'll see you on the track.